We're also, I'm going to film a bit of this on the Olympus thing, which Olympus have given us. This was the camera that we went to the gig with.
Yeah, we did,
the other night. I quite like the fact that it looks like a spaceship. I'm going to hold it up there to the camera so everyone can see that. But anyway, we'll have a bit of that. Also, online, we have Dom's Iron Sandwich, Dom Lawson, Hammer Scribe, reviewing a new album every day, a little 4 or 5 minutes thing at lunchtime. Don't forget, you can get free tickets to see Skindred in Birmingham on the Metal Hammer 25th anniversary shows. I'm going to go up for that.
Yeah?
I'm fucking going up for that. I just can never see enough Skindred. Or at least when I do, I'll let you all know.
I'm gonna watch them until you just get sick.
Until I get sick.
So I can never get sick of is the bit in Warning when they do Warning, and you know you got like Papa Roach, mate. He does it on the album.
Kobe Shaddix.
Yeah, I like it when Mikey does it live because he puts a bit of his because normally Papa Roach really American in it, but when Mike does it, you can tell that he's got a bit of his Abingdon roots coming out.
Abingdon?
Like, yeah, he's from like just outside of Oxford, isn't he?
Where's that? Oh, I mean, sorry.
Outside of Oxford, yeah.
Where's outside of Oxford?
Where's outside? And he goes, you better sit tightly. You better back down. I feel it igniting. Boy. It's really funny.
Nice.
And good as well.
I never spotted that, but I will look out for that. So that's happening. Also, we've got the £2.50 back to 86 prices show at Islington Academy.
Yeah.
Malefis. With Malefis are playing, Orange Goblin, Dirty DC tribute band. We're going to be DJing in the room.
Dirty DC tribute band? I think me and AC/DC.
AD.
So.
And we have a new magazine out next week, so we'll be running through what's in that.
Good.
We don't have a shot up negative comment this week because everyone was really positive about Stegel, which I'm really happy about. So I want to flip it on its head.
I'm gutted. You like that? Get some taste, you wankers.
Cool. I want to know if someone was going to criticise Stegel, what they would say.
Probably.
Did you ever get bad reviews?
Oh, like everyone hated us. I said to her, like, it's really weird because my mum was like, everyone used to hate you, didn't they? They used to hate you, think you were rubbish, didn't they? You always used to come home after you'd done a gig and you were like, oh, mum, I don't want to do it no more. They fucking hate me, those bastards. And now I think it's really nice that people like you. It's the first time we've actually been like people who know things about music actually liked us. Because back in the day, like I said last week, we'd go and do gigs with people who like ska bands, and obviously like we didn't really go down very well with ska bands or people who liked Drowning Pool. Like that was it really.
Did you ever play with a band called the Foamers?
No.
Okay, good. So we went to a couple of shows. The show's sort of about a couple of weeks ago now, but we didn't sort of get a chance to talk about them. We went to see Heights and Feed the Rhino.
Yeah, we did talk about that last week.
We did talk about that. Good. Okay. Feed the Rhino and Heights. Heights have actually just been announced for the Architect support.
Nice, that'd be a good
in
show,
December, which is wicked.
Yeah.
Really glad that's happening. They deserve that. I have put a bit in here about how I was going to talk about I went to a rave, but I'm not going to talk about that. I did go with fellow metalheads.
Yeah.
Which was good. Not metalheads as in Goldie's label. Bit of an in-joke there. Well done.
Yeah, everyone's cracking up.
So I was going to let's do some albums. I've listened to the James Cleaver Quintet, which you mentioned. I really like it. You like it? I
really, really like it. Yeah, they're another really good. I want to come up with a better word for it than punk and roll, but that's what everyone seems to be calling it. That kind of punky rock and roll, Bronxy sort of sound. They sound a little bit like Blood Brothers, but they've got bits of like trumpet in there as well, haven't they? They've got some like really cool, almost like salsa, like they remind me a little of like
bits as well.
Rockabilly bits, almost like Living End or Royal Crown Review, those sort of bands. But I think they're a really good band. Like I listened to it with Marielle and she kind of didn't mind it for a bit, but then when it's just screaming like all those bands you like, I went, oh, that's your review, is it?
It's kind of
if you like, they just sound like Weezer and Bleeding Through, like. But that's what she would think.
The thing is, there's always like a real indie sensibility, and not in a bad way. In the way that like they call Hawkeyes and even Turbo Wolf to a certain point have an appeal that like kids who like cool stuff, trendy stuff will like it. Yeah. But it's also kind of scrappy and screamy and with like beatdowns.
It's got a bit like this sort of. I think there's one track halfway through. It almost sounds a little bit. They go from like if the Bronx and Mariachi Al Bronx didn't split their sound, they just pushed it all in together. Yeah.
Mariachi Al Bronx.
Yeah. And they're having called Bronx. They all are.
Yeah. L.
It's a great album. That would be that would be my album of the week because they're a band I haven't heard for ages. But Will Haven,
Yeah?
the new Will Haven album is.
Go on, walk
Will
us through
Haven.
it.
It's just punishingly, like, I was a bit worried because they haven't been at their last album. They had a different singer. They've got Grady back in the band, who's got that kind of larynx from hell, like Satan's anus larynx, like just fucking serial killer voice. And they've brought it back. It's kind of, and they play music. Like, I don't know if anyone isn't familiar with Will Haven. I'm sure most people are. But what I love about Will Haven is, like, Jeff, the guitarist, Jeff Irwin, a guitarist, plays his favourite band ever is the Cardigans. His favourite album ever is Gran Turismo by the Cardigans.
Bad album. Love the band, though.
Yeah, I think it's a good album.
I like Emmerdale.
Emmerdale?
Yeah.
Is that an album?
Yeah, yeah. It's one of the early ones. I only like the early stuff.
Yeah, you don't like the early stuff, don't you? But you can almost tell, like, they're kind of like that, like pop music, like Neurosis playing pop songs. Like, it all sounds wrong. Like, they play like pops, like kind of poppy, catchy, like riffy record, like music, like almost like catchy rock, but they distort it and they play it in the wrong order, so it all just sounds like it puts your back up a bit. And I mean, I think they're one of my favorite bands going on. Like them and Vision of Disorder were the sort of the first two bands that were like more than the Deftones or Rage Against the Machine that I listened to, that are actually really fucking heavy. And it's just a brilliant album. It hasn't quite got the scuzzy. They used to have that really, Mike Martin's bass used to have a really like fully scuzzy, dirty bass, but they kind of clean.
Still
that.
heavy and
yeah, still really heavy and
fuck.
slow and like.
It's quite a dynamic album. That's the thing that I got from it.
so,
I'm
yeah.
not wild about Will Haven. It's not really my sort of cuppa, but I can hear that. For example, anyone who's a fan of Cancer Bats but doesn't know Will Haven, you can hear Liam's sort of got a lot from that area of metal, but also in terms of the dynamics of the record, there's sort of fast bits, heavy bits, sparse bits. It does, like, again, so like cliche say, but it takes you on quite a journey.
Yeah, I think it's brilliant. I mean, they always do. That's the thing about Will Haven, is like they're one of the few bands who can play. Basically, you kind of know what's coming with every song, but they manage to keep they manage to hold your interest through 10 tracks. Like I say, the only thing, they haven't got quite the kind of scuzzy bass sound they used to have, but then I guess that's what happens when you employ a bass player from a pop band. When you're
Who's in the band?
I was Chris Fenn from Slipknot. I was being a prick.
Oh, right.
I was being a prick. Yeah, yeah. It's Chris Fenn from Slipknot playing bass on it as well. It's really, really good. It's the comeback of the year for sure. Definitely.
Okay, cool.
I would say.
What else did you have?
I listened to Marionette.
Yeah.
What do you think of that? Have you listened to that?
I've listened to that.
What's your thoughts on that? Because it's not really the sort of thing I'd usually listen to, I'll be honest.
It's interesting because they sort of traded to a certain extent on their looks. They're signed to a French label. They're from Sweden. They look like sort of 5 photocopies of someone who you can't name from My Chemical Romance 6 years ago. Only they play like proper sort of almost like Death Stars. It's deathcore. It's deathcore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, they sound. I think they sound. Are they from Europe? They sound really European.
Swedish,
yeah, of course. Well, they sound it as well.
Yeah,
I think they sound like I didn't think Death Star so much. I was thinking more like, I don't know, maybe like the more whittlier, cheesier Children of Bodom stuff a little bit.
Yeah, okay.
And the one I like, they've got a nice line in keyboards. I think like they use keys quite sparsely.
Yeah.
And it sounds almost like the way Nine Inch Nails won't play like like keys over top of everything, like Dragon Force. Just use like one note and let it ring. That's quite good. But apart from that, a little bit, it's all right. It's kind of, it's bombastic, like a kind of one song I've written down here actually. It would be they sound like strapping young lads if Devin Townsend only ever listened to Unearth one bit.
Yeah. It's one of those things, I think, like stylistically I don't hate it, but the music, you get sort of 4 or 5 tracks in and you still feel like you've only heard verses.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I think
nothing really like leapt out at me particularly, apart from, like I say, their kind of minimalistic keyboard use. So well done that keyboard player for just being a lazy fuck, basically. Crimson Armada.
Yeah, okay, now tell me about that.
Generic as fuck metalcore, I would say. Just generic metalcore, pro-tooled bullshit I've written down here, actually. There's a few bits where it goes into old school 3 Inches of Blood type territory.
Okay.
I think, but
Which era 3 Inches of Blood? Like the early garage recording stuff that sounds scrappy as fuck, or those 2 middle albums that were done by Joey Jordison
I
that
think
were all like
those
Pro
2
Tools-y?
middle-aged, those 2 middle-eight albums, those 2 middle albums that you're talking about. It sounds like the stuff that when I say 3 Inches of Blood, most people will immediately go, "Oh, he means that." Not what you're talking about, the early stuff,
Or the new album,
the demo.
Await Thy Doom.
I've not heard that.
If you the new one or the first one?
The new one.
Okay, it's good. It's a bit more sort of like the first album meets Sabbath.
Yeah.
So it's a bit sort of slower. It's not all Slayer.
They changed their lineup completely, haven't they? Pretty much.
Basically, yeah. And they got rid of Jamie Hooper.
Yeah.
They are. I mean, you know me. I love Canadian bands. They always get it. They just get it. But 3 Inches of Blood, Cam Pipes is not an easy person to interview.
No.
Very, very quiet, quite defensive about goblins, and the fact that he does D&D, which when I went to interview him, I'm from a heavy metal magazine. I used to do D&D and paint orcs, and he was just really defensive about the whole thing. And you almost want to go, mate, I'm
one of you.
I'm a massive geek like you as well. Don't worry, you're amongst friends. Just because I'm chatty bastard. Calm down. Stop. Don't throw your dice out your cot. But yeah, interested to see what they do next. Anyway,